Okay, so they didn't even ask me to do a title. That's weird. Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna try to make it real quick. Hopefully nobody comes in. Y'all know I don't like let me get my water. And I spilled it. I'm so clumsy, y'all. So with all the rhetoric or whatever and the like use of like these terms that are being floated around in the YouTube streets, today we're going to be discussing quiet quitting. So this is written January the 12th, 2023. Obviously it took about a few minutes to I'll be free writing. So completed at 1:52 p.m. Not that it matters, but I love to put timestamps on every single thing, just about. So what is quiet quitting? It depends on the context in which the term is used, basically. Quiet quitting can mean various of things or a variety of things. Let's take a moment to discuss a few. Quiet quitting can mean staying employed in order to get paid without actually performing and you're doing your work. How's that for job duties? So that's what you see there's a trend with individuals who are basically staying employed just to collect the check basically. Let me know what you guys think about that. What do you think about that? Individuals just basically staying on jobs, hogging up the space or whatever, with the audacity to push individuals who know how to perform jobs. They think that they're pushing them out, but in reality, they're making them great. Let me know what you think about that down below in the comments. Quiet quitting can mean leaving your job to focus on becoming a full-time YouTuber, whatever that is. Being a YouTuber is far much more different from being an actual commentator and or influencer. Majority of so-called YouTubers came to the YouTube streets to be distractors, clout chasers, clickbaiters, plus more. They seldom, if ever, serve a purpose unless it includes doxing one another, scamming, spreading unnecessary serious disinformation, engaging in slander, defamation, engaging in toxic trauma bonding, etc. What is interesting is when and if individuals with the growing audience become monetized. They basically encourage their subs to refrain from sending super chats, and they are encouraged to reroute the donations to like PayPal, Zelle, or Cash App plus more. You can't make this ish up. They're fully aware of like how to cut out what they perceive as the middleman, which would be YouTube, because they like to basically get your roll on, hustler, get your roll on. I'm just saying. So let me stop. Let me know what you think about that down below in the comments, though. And we're gonna move briefly, quickly and swiftly, with this subject because I don't like to spend all day just, you know what I'm saying, uh, recapping and just like going back to something that's just basically meaningless. But individuals are now picking up terms quiet quitting quite because it's an echo chamber. However, they try to distort the context or whatever. They try to distort the context. They try to just basically a lot of things that I hear people speak about when they're talking about quiet quitting. It's like they're not getting to the grit. They're not getting to the bone. Q&A. What are your thoughts in regard to YouTubers who become monetized when they're not selling nor cross marketing or delivering actual product services or commentary, but starting unnecessary conflict and spreading toxic beef? Uh oh. Okay. Okay, I was trying to make sure. I was trying to make sure the printer wasn't trying to do something. I don't need to print anything else. Non-productive, and I put performing in parentheses. YouTubers basically get paid to utilize the platforms or other platforms outside of YouTube for nefarious purposes to dox one another, moving from one sector to the next, creating unnecessary conflict and or beef. Now let's circle back to the terms non-productive that I put in parentheses, non-productive, and then we're going to focus on the performing part. So, what is real performance skills and merit for that matter? What is it? How would you explain it? I was about to say, what does it mean to you? But that will be in each eye of the beholder. What is your definition of merit? Your non-productive activity plus more. So basically, performance is not applicable as non-productivity isn't doing anything to improve their subs' lives, nor their own lives for that matter. Make it make sense. Would you pay to sit up there and have individuals belittle you, fuss at you about sending donations and whine about how much you send rather than being grateful and happy that they get to basically collect a free check, basically, not holding meet and greets for their subs, plus more. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let's continue. No, let me go back to, or would you pay to for your own demise? Would you pay for individuals to belittle you and make you feel like you're nothing? That's how most of their subs come into and enter toxic spaces. That's what toxic trauma bonding is all about, because misery tends to love company. Would you pay for that? Let me know. Now, when it comes to other cultures and groups or whatever, it's a lot of individuals in these YouTube streets. You have makeup communities, you have automobile communities, you have individuals who do arts and crafts and plus more. So their viewers are actually getting something productive out of watching their favorite YouTubers and or influencers. And it goes back to black plantations or whatever. They just do not want to be held responsible and accountable for their actions or inactions. Why are their subscribers leaving the YouTube space? Or why are their subscribers leaving their particular certain platforms? I mean, certain channels to move along to go to other more meaningful channels. It's because they can get more out of it and are able to reapply certain things, certain discussions or lectures to their real life. That's called reality. So as individuals mature and grow, they probably be hopping to other channels or whatever. That's what I can see from my perspective. When individuals remain stagnant, all they can fuss like they can fuss for like you guys like 14 or 20 hours per day nonstop, consecutively, like in a row. They can even want to come out. Okay, so let's continue. Many sheep and zombies most likely come to toxic spaces being emptier than which they initially came once they enter horrific twilight zones. Make it make sense. However, it should not bother you. It definitely does not bother me. However, it is quite unusually disturbing. What do you think? Imagine unnecessary toxic workplaces. We do not have to imagine it. Look at real professionals, and you don't even have to be a professional to see, because it does not take fancy rocket science. They don't have to imagine. They can basically look into like what's going on in these YouTube streets. So when it comes to unnecessary dysfunction, full-blown unnecessary degeneracy, and generational toxicity is all up in their face. It's in black people's faces. Because for the most part, and I know that other communities like the MUA makeup community or whatever, they have their little bits and pieces, but they're able to pick up and move along. They don't drag stuff out for like 2, 5, 6 years plus more. Because they have money to make. Other individuals are just concerned about collecting a free YouTube check, basically. So how's that for absolute pure entitlement? Because we don't see individuals holding any type of meet and greets for their fans. Is what they are, their audience. They're not going on tour, but they're collecting a lot of dough, taking it in. We're not pocket watching. We're just putting things on the table, and we're trying to have a constructive, you know what I'm saying, conversation. Sheep and zombies are not allowed to sit at this table because their conversation is never constructive. It's always destructive. Make it make sense. So this is how like urban plantations, how they act on YouTube. And yes, individuals might sit up there and rant. I tend to go on a rant or whatever, but you know what? There's another day. There's another day to make it count, to make it better, to keep it pushing and keep it moving. Let's say this again. Unnecessary dysfunction, full-blown unnecessary degeneracy, and generational toxicity is all up in their face. Unless viewers select and engage with non-toxic YouTubers and or influencers. Quiet quitting in the context of members only. What does members only mean? Basically, subscribers have the option to become members with a few extra perks that non-channel members do not ordinarily get. So the few perks include, but is not limited to, being able to stand among non-members with the ability to choose unique patches. They are supposed to have access to exclusive content, which non-members do not have access to. So that's what the extra perks that they're paying for, to be able to receive extra content and engage in private discussions. It's not private discussions, but only like when individuals put them subscriber mode only on their channels, then only their subscribers can but that part is I'm thinking it's free if I'm not mistaken. But when individuals are channel members, they're supposed to be receiving extra IE services, extra IE content, plus more content, commentary, whichever the way you decide to paint it. So they're supposed to have access to exclusive content, which non-members do not have access to. For the most part, certain members, hold on, give me 1 second. For the most part, certain YouTubers seldom make more time to extend additional perks, aka extra content, aka extra commentary, to the subscription members. No worries, because for the most part, their audience have selective short-term memory. We'll just sit that there. When beef can keep them entertained, they're not fully aware of how they pay for special services, i.e. perks, which are not always delivered from their YouTubers, their favorite YouTubers, who are not really influencing the global nor domestic worlds. Quiet quitting can also consist of being away from the YouTube spaces longer than usual. You know, people have things that come up or whatever and have things that they have to deal with, or give themselves a moment to take a break from YouTube, i.e. a vacation, no differently from individuals taking a vacation from a normal job. So sometimes YouTubers will just basically disappear without providing additional commentary or content to keep their audience attention, to keep them captivated, to keep them from going around the YouTube streets channel hopping and fucking with other individuals who do not generally fuck with them. There's their seller language and the F-bomb. As a result, their audience tend to channel hop, basically, and you guys have seen it in the YouTube streets, even if it means channel hopping to their favorite YouTubers' ops, i.e. nemesis. So individuals who do not necessarily get along or whatever. We've seen the fallouts, and those fallouts are representations, clear representations as to why certain type of individuals cannot cross market, cannot network with others who are toxic, basically, because we've seen a lot of YouTubers fall out. First, they're all kumbaya or whatever, but then I guess they begin to be envious and jealous of one another. Only they can answer those questions. So individuals are just inferring right now, but I would hate to, you know what I'm saying, assume to make an ass out of you and me. In any event, when enough YouTubers are away for extended periods and remember to re-upload old content, why don't they let their audience know, hey, the commentary or content is like a flashback, aka syndication? Put flashback in there. We see DJ, well, you're not even a DJ Vlad, but we're going to use Vlad as an example because he used the word flashback to let his audience know, hey, there's not going to be any new content today or whatever. And if I choose to drop new content, because you have to hold something in the chamber. You don't just want to keep dumping, oversaturating to where the point to where you're like, damn, now what are we going to talk about next? And it's no different from like if individuals get a writer's block and just be just on stuck mode or whatever. Be like, so that's why people don't continue to like dump stuff. They'll hold something in the chamber and then drop the content at a later time. So that's why it tend to be like a time lapse. People be like, this is when it's release new content, it's new content. They look at the fact that they've seen individuals do something similar in regards to the same individual that's being interviewed. But then when individuals drop new content, they're actually gonna, if they press play, they'll hear different things that didn't happen in other interviews. Now, for the most part, people do have a tendency to channel hop or whatever, and each YouTuber interview the same exact person, but they're not learning anything new, or not, they're not being told new stories or whatever. It's just being told the same exact story. I don't have any time for that. Let's continue. So I'm going to repeat this again. In any event, when and if YouTubers are away for extended periods and remember to re-upload old content, why don't they let their audience know that the commentary or content is like a flashback or a syndication? It does not take fancy rocket science to see. Certain YouTubers are often fully aware that majority of their audience have short attention spans and cannot always remember, hey, I've seen this before. On the contrary, rare exceptions do exist, which consist of certain individuals being capable of recalling, hey, I saw this movie before, i.e. the content and commentary. I've seen, you can tell when they fuck. I've seen this before. The chat be going wild. I'm like, y'all chat is just like, your bots going wild in the YouTube streets when they notice, we've seen this before. We want something new. So they're speaking about they want some new content and commentary because they've seen that old content before, but the word flashback isn't written in the title. Okay, so like the content is old, is given, is give me a moment, you guys, because I'm trying to make this as semi-professional as possible, even though I already dropped the F-bomb like twice. This content, oh, I've seen this before. I want to say it's giving fake news, but that's not the right thing. Y'all let me know what it's giving down below in the comments. Okay, it's giving I'm not as insipid as you thought that I was, basically. That's what it's giving. Okay, moving along. So when YouTubers notice bonus content is available, if their YouTubers are like MIA, missing in action, they initially tune in because they are underneath the false illusion or impression that the content will be hosted by their favorite YouTuber, and it's not. It's giving catfishing. Except for it's not people just taking off the makeup and be like, voila, it's a different person. Wow, it's very shocking, darling. So it's giving fishing and catfishing. You know how people get fished through, and yeah, it's giving catfishing. That's how you hook your audience in, because they see your thumbnail and they're thinking, oh, my favorite content, you know what I'm saying, YouTuber. I don't say creator because there's only one divine and supreme, and that's God. And then voila, this is what happens, you guys. Give me one moment. It's giving catfishing. No shade, but I'm just saying what it's giving. So I'm just the owl hanging upside down, refusing to monkey around in these YouTube streets. Okay? Okay, so now that we got that out the way, darlings, let's continue. So they're underneath the false illusion or impression that the content would be hosted by their favorite YouTuber. In reality, the content / commentary is introduced with the YouTuber's face. Then boom, out of nowhere, like magic, darling, it's the wine, baby. That's what's given for me. Okay? Then boom, they're catfishing just like magic. Put that in tough air quotes, you guys. A different host appears. And then the audience go crazy again. We don't want to see that part. We want to see you. That's not what we paying for. We want to see. It's giving trickery and deception, darling. That's what it's giving. So their audience, sometimes they become pissed off too, and they do voice their concerns and their opinions, and they basically go the fuck off in the chat when they are catfished and tricked like that into pressing play when the thumbnail displays their favorite YouTuber's face. How's that? That's like, it's giving identity fraud, baby. It's just virtual. I'm sorry, it's giving me identity fraud. It's giving me morphine. It's giving morph. And we're just keeping it real from a business perspective, because individuals say we're entrepreneurs don't catfish and trick unless they're scammers. Hey, this is merch, but then It's not the merch falling apart, darling. It's giving, I want my money back or a refund, okay? Oh, okay, so now that we got that out the way. Needless to say, it's funny to see the audience reaction when this occurs. And I just be looking at that audience be going bananas like, I digress. Let me take a moment, you guys. I'll be long-winded. What do you guys think down below in the comments? People never respond over here, which is great or whatever. It's also great when individuals drop free gems or whatever, and individuals do not have to pay for a consultation that might ordinarily cost them $200 to $500. And depending on what type of, you know what I'm saying, depending on what type of services you want, it can cost plus more, basically. So individuals call themselves entrepreneurs. These YouTubers do. There are actual influencers in these YouTube streets. You may not always see them or whatever, because individuals do not take the time to get out of their comfort zone and to get outside of their box, and they're used to falling for the bullshit. So things like this, we can't use the white supremacy rhetoric. I just want to throw that out there. We can't use the people want to be superior rhetoric. People buy black, shop black. People where they take their money to the Asians and white people with it. It's giving better customer service for the most part. So black people just have to keep it real and be brutally honest, but they can't. So this is one of the reasons why they subject themselves to unnecessary, just like pain, if you know they're going to certain not creators but YouTubers, and all they're hearing is just like negative, constant negative. That's because they want you to be broken. They want you to be broken, spiritually broken, morally bankrupt, and corrupt. It's given. They want you to stay in a stagnant, sunken place forever, because that's how they make their money, man. On the contrary, other individuals who do encourage their viewers to improve their lives or whatever is given, they're able to elevate. And then sometimes their audience become YouTubers or actual influencers. Okay? Let's move along. The most extreme vice of quiet quitting occurs when YouTubers vanish, aka they just disappear. You understand? They just up and quiet quit and they disappear without providing explanations to their audience, because they don't feel as though they owe you an explanation, even though they stuck with their hosts through thick and thin and supported them financially throughout the years or decades, depending on how long people had their channels. So the most toxic form of fictitious quiet quitting, I say quiet quacking, you know what I'm saying? If it sounds like a duck in a quack, go quack quack. So quiet quitting consists of narcissistic sociopaths faking their debts. And then on the back ends, they will have the audacity to have their production team solicit donations. It's giving scams. And yes, it does happen. People know it's individuals in these streets that have scammed and fake their deaths. And they come back like nothing happened, be like, I didn't tell my manager. I didn't tell the person running my channel to do that. It's given, it should be illegal and criminal. So on back ends, they will have their production team solicit donations. This level of scamming is very unthinkable. However, it does occur more often than you would believe. Other disturbing and egregious forms similar to faking their debts consist of leaving the YouTube streets just fishing and baiting their subs, basically. This occurs when sociopaths or psychopaths want to test or see their audience reaction. I said see like that because they be lurking from behind the bushes to see how how their audience is gonna react to their disappearance. So their audience basically, they're just called just like in a whirlwind, in a loop. So yeah, let's go back to the sociopaths just want to test or see their audience reaction, plus more. Their audience basically beg them not to go. Please don't go. This occurs when they just be like, oh, they'll be like, my final video in the YouTube streets are why I'm leaving YouTube. That's the ultimate clickbait. So when they have ran out of content and they want to keep control over you or your feelings, they'll clickbait and say, final YouTube video or why I'm leaving YouTube. And then they be back like the next day. For the most part, it's very unthinkable and it's toxic as well. These toxic behaviors basically allow narcissistic YouTubers to see how much control they have over their subs' emotions. Plain English, in a sense, it's a rare form of exerting superiority over their audience when they cannot exert similar controls over individuals in their twisted and delusional realities, plus more. For sheep and zombies to constantly scapegoat terms such as white supremacy and or distorted slavery rhetoric is given the what the is given audacity, baby. That's what it's given. The audacity. They do pretty good damn jobs being fictional slave masters themselves as they control, their naive puppets, i.e., their subscribers, their viewers, their audience, as they knowingly serve as clownish puppet masters. Is given self-inflicted oppression. In this context, subjecting yourself to unnecessary emotional abuse can be perceived as another rare form of slavery being a choice. It's given you had a choice to decide. You had a choice to waddle within self-inflicted, systematic, or systemic abusive, you know what I'm saying? Behaviors or fall for the oppression. So slavery in effect in this content can actually be a mental choice. Q&A. Why would individuals subject themselves to unnecessary emotional harm or abuse? Can certain toxicity be inferred or perceived as another rare form of self-inflicting unnecessary systemic or systematic oppression? Let me know down below in the comments. What is quiet quitting? Let me know what it means to you, darlings. How you doing? I need a mint or something. I thought it's dry. Let me know down below what you think. This has been 27 minutes, okay? You're not going to see any like outros and intros that's fancy and other thing because other individuals are not regular YouTubers. And also, Crowns and Tea podcast was basically a pilot. You have pilots on top. It was a pilot or whatever. However, Crowns and Tea Media, we're here to stay as long as these sheep and zombies don't flag channels. Because they can't handle the truth. They also do not like to engage in actual civic discourse. And there are a lot of distractors or plants in the YouTube streets. We don't know where they come from because the YouTube streets, it wasn't like this before. Before they start offering individuals monies and all the other stuff or whatever. And speaking of monies and stuff like that, that's besides the point. We don't pocket watch. And speaking about, let me see how I want to work this. Give me 1 second. And this is what happens when people think before they react or think before they make a statement. I'm trying to find a way to just work it so it doesn't come out wrong. As it pertains to numbers doesn't really they matter, but they don't matter. You know how people be like, can't wait to make it to 1 million. Just because individuals have 1 million subscribers plus more does not mean that it's giving value. It doesn't mean that it's giving learning. It doesn't mean that it's giving utilizing the tools or resources that's being provided, i.e. commentary or clickbait plus more. It could be a variety of things depending on what you watch. Are you able to Q&A? Are you able to reapply it in the real world in which you live in the real world in which you live in, plus more? It's giving self-reflect. Just take a moment to just pull yourselves back. Can you reapply anything to Can you reapply it to the world in which you live and never have to seek to coexist? You don't have to agree to disagree. You know, people, I agree to disagree. I will never agree to disagree. No, especially if you are firm in believing there's a difference between non-productivity versus productivity. Negativity versus, okay, people can be positive and they can sit up there and show other emotions or go on a rant, get it all out, regroup. All right, back to YouTube business. It's showtime, baby. It's giving use your discernment that God gives you, and a lot of individuals cannot, because from generation to toxic generation to generation, that's all they're used to is accepting unnecessary emotional abuse, belittling, plus more. It's given, it doesn't make any sense. That's not a white people issue. It's not an Asian issue. Uh it's not a what other people a Jewish issue. It's about personal responsibility and accountability, whatever. And you also have the option to decide to elevate, or you can remain stagnant. It's given, you have a choice. It's given free will. So when individuals in these YouTube streets, they just like to revisit the social ills, unnecessary social issues. They don't ever want to speak about the root cause of criminality. We're going to throw that out there. They don't want to speak about the root cause of why are these social issues still occurring, just, and it affects general population, such as scams, identity fraud, plus more. It's giving a lot of black people, 99, we're going to say at least 90%, they don't believe in personal responsibility and accountability, and it's giving, we can see it in the YouTube streets. Because when people are solution based, they focus on solutions. They approach each given subject or unnecessary social ill or issue and focus on the issues at large that yields results, coming to a solid, rational, logical conclusion or solution. When individuals remain stagnant, they waddle within systematic and systemic self-inflicted oppression, plus more. Is given to freedom for the rare 1% who have merit, are able to grow, not only just like self growth and development, but being able to take that self development and growth and passing that baton to those who are coming behind you. It's given, if you can touch one life, that's all it take, y'all. One life together, you can create a chain reaction, no matter if it's domestic or globally, plus more. And I should have put that as the thumbnail, because you have everybody just plus more. It's given, you have free will. That's what it's given. So Crowns and Tea podcast was just a pilot to see how individuals were going to respond and react to the truth, without seeing the big bulk dirty data, which other individuals with the real clearance have access to. It's given, you don't have to touch. It's given, use rationale, logic, and because black people who are toxic, they can relate to these unnecessary social ills and issues, because it's something that's passed down from their generation, such as DNA scams or fraud gates. It's given, it should not affect every single individual in society. It's given, taxpayers and consumers matter. And when you matter, you get to decide where to take your dollar. No different from these subscribers in the YouTube streets. So it's given, what you permit, you promote. And that comes from talk is cheap. That's how you get virtual credit. And shout out, that audience is too weird for me. It just got a little weird to show that. I know I can, people don't think they recognize, but when they finally come out the bushes, I'll be like, you blocked. That's what it's given to me. But I can still see individuals, and I recognize and understand people's progression or whatever, or understand the progress that they're making. But it's given, like, some people it's just too much. I still see them. So Crowns and Tea podcast was a pilot to see how individuals, specifically Black people, because we are Black Americans, how they were, some are living on plantations and they've been there for about 300 years. Please do not disturb them. Please do not mess with their channels. Please do not harass them. So when it comes to the rare exceptions, Black communities actually build together. They grow, they network, they cross market, plus more. They don't backstab or whatever. They're not envious and jealous of each other's accomplishments, plus more. And so that's what separates. This is what we try to get through the white liberals or whatever. We don't need to kumbaya with Black plantations who promote and permit self-inflicted pain for no reason for the given season, darlings. Please don't use my line. Okay? Crowns and T Media, we are here to stay as long as the... I'm here to stay. I'll drop some poetry, just a little sprinkle or whatever. Sometimes you have to sage your YouTube channel, darlings, and we're not talking about playing with those tarot cards. And I'm going to keep speaking about that because there's a trend going on, and people just thinking, oh, flip a card, prosperity. No, that's what's wrong with y'all. Prosperity is when you work hard for what you want, not piggybacking off of taxpayers and consumers, not trolling consumers into giving you their dollars. Real charity is voluntary. That's what is given to me, darlings. I yield back to DC on that one, darlings. So when you know better, you do better. Oh, flipping a card, you can't search for love like that or find love flipping a tarot card. It's giving delusions. That's what it's giving. You can manifest whatever, and then if they don't happen on a card, then you're just like waddling within misery. Misery loves company. So that separates Black plantations from, you know what I'm saying, the Black communities in these YouTube streets. You might be underdogs or whatever. However, be the best underdog and the best Black sheep that you can be, darlings. How you doing? How you doing? Okay. Okay, darling. So now that we got that out the way, Crowns and T Media, we're going to keep on rolling. No different from how they roll in New Orleans, you heard me. People don't know nothing about that Mardi Gras coming up, so y'all going to keep hearing me talk about it. I'm not going to Mardi Gras. However, I'm going to be there for the parades, and I can't wait for people to drop their videos because I'm going to be in that audience, baby. How you doing? Okay? So it's giving keep your head up. People keep saying we don't know what they mean when they say strap each other by the boots. We do, because it's a lot of bullshit going on behind the scenes, Mitch McConnell, sir. Respectfully. He not our representative, y'all. I just tease Mitch. It's given when you know better, you do better. We don't know what it mean when it say, of course you don't, because you never practice it. You think other individuals are supposed to pour into you, even if you're not pouring into yourself. It's giving pure absolute gluttony, entitlement plus more, and scammers is giving thievery, identity fraud plus. It's like it's the more for me. What do you guys think? So had you been a little nicer to DC have all the, you know what I'm saying, all the answers to your unnecessary problems. Is given lack of accountability and personal responsibility is given. This is why a lot of urban plantations do not promote self-development growth nor real economic stability. I say economic stability. Y'all know I'm shy or whatever. That's why y'all see me do this or whatever. I'm a little shy though, but I still get in front of this camera. They don't promote equity. They like to promote toxic and backwards diversity. It's not real. Forcing other individuals to try to hate themselves is not going to work. It's kind of like socialism. If you keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, and you forcing or inflicting tyranny or it's not going to work. It's like low vibrational socialism. It's giving. You have to be delusional to fake believe that the American people and taxpayers, i.e., consumers, are going to pour into their demise. It's giving you get to decide where to take your dollars, baby. The choice is up to you. How is that for free will? And that comes from the realm of philosophy, basically. You don't have to open a book or whatever. You can be your pages. You can be your history. You can be your growth. You can be that solution. You can be the rare exception, darlings. How you doing? No matter the color or creed. But we're speaking of Black people today. So how's that for dropping jewels? So this is Envy Greatly. Welcome to Crowns and Tea Media. We're not going to be doing anything fancy over here. We're just still taking care of some unnecessary social ills and issues going around behind the scenes, darling. So we every once in a while I give you a sneak peek or whatever tutorials. I'm no longer doing that because basically people really have to pay for people to either A, be a speaker. I don't do public speaking anymore. I'm retired. I'm retired, darling. Or B, to show individuals how to do their jobs. I yield back to DC and Congress, baby. That's the power of the purse. Okay, how you doing? All right, you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing day or whatever the weekend is coming. Amen. Hallelujah. The weekend is coming. Shout out to individuals who practice real self-love, growth, development, plus more, real economic stability, baby. Real. If you believe in sovereignty, can I get a hallelujah? Real sovereignty, not fake. Real 3 branches, not fake. Real judges, not fake. It's the fake documents behind the scenes for me, darlings. How you doing? Real independence, not fake. Real freedom. Instead of falling for unnecessary propaganda, darlings. How you doing? It's the logic and the rationale that gets it for me. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. So individuals do. Slavery, in fact, can be many different types of choices. Physical, because if you're a criminal, you belong in prison. That's the key when I'm talking about mass incarceration, plus more. Now, there is going to be the rare exceptions to where individuals were incarcerated and they were innocent until proven guilty. Is that the way it's supposed to work, or is justice supposed to be blind? It's given. These individuals are very delusional, you guys. It's given. Liberty does, in fact, matter. Justice shall not be blind, and ignorance of the law shall be no excuse. Amen. Hallelujah. It's given in sheep and zombies. You have personal choices and life decisions to make. And if you keep making the same thing, it's no longer called a mistake, baby. If you can't stop breaking the law, if I made a mistake, you made 200 mistakes, then darlings, I can't do it as an advocate. I can't do it alone. So it's given when you are subjected to unnecessary identity theft or waste, fraud, and abuse, plus more. Misuse of social security number and personal identifiable information. DC just want to put a spin on the coin that on the terms that I coined. I said personal identifying. They was like, we're just be like personal identifiable, darling. It does not matter because what it was is what it is. Okay. People don't like to give other individuals their credit. It's given. Next time, get a copy of your contract, darlings. How you doing? How's that for business and entrepreneurship? Contractors, plus more. Giving people a try to strong arm your research when it's the grit and the blood and the sweat and tears that the sheep and zombies didn't put in for me, darling. How you doing? I'll yield back to DC. Respectfully. Okay, so this has been 43 minutes or whatever. Y'all know at the end of the day, I like to do teachable moments as I'm dropping gems all across these YouTube streets. So absolutely FREE. In the meantime, in between time, the sheep and zombies rather pay for, you know what I'm saying, their demise. And it doesn't bother me, so why should it bother you? I digress. Once again, this has been Envy Greatly, you guys. Broadcasting from the great state of Texas. Yes, hallelujah. Okay? Okay, so now that we got that gotten that out of the way, the only thing that I encourage individuals to do is to love yourselves, plus more. Believe in yourselves, plus more. There's going to be a time that you're going to rent, you're going to do it. Love yourselves, because people like, and where to next? Self-love. How you doing? Yeah, amen. So have a wonderful day. As I've told you probably about 3 or 4 times or whatever. Sometimes it's difficult to be like, how should I end? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm used to my outro, but I just want to just like turn the music off for a second, rather than, you know what I'm saying, play the pseudo bullshit that you see a lot of individuals play in these YouTube streets. I think we'll just use music for 2 hours and then just drop some non-productive jewels in the YouTube streets. But then the sheep, all they focus on is the music. It's given. You had a choice to decide which you absorb, but once you absorb it, white people, Jewish, black people who are more productive, black people who have actual merit and they actually perform their job duties within their scopes without having to be told to do so, plus more Asian population, Latino, Hispanics, to freedom. Like it doesn't have anything to do with it. People need to learn how to pick themselves up. That cannot be taught in a book. So it's given. You need to look in the mirror and self-reflect for a moment. Even if it means turning off the tube, basically. Shout out to individuals who love themselves. Shout out to individuals who are real entrepreneurs in this universe. And we're not just speaking about in these YouTube streets because I see a lot of fraud, scammers, and pretenders. That's what I see. I've been around enough real businessmen and women to understand when individuals are scamming, basically. So it's giving you get to decide where you put your hard-earned dollar and your shiny little nickel. Okay. All right, you guys. So now I got a jet. Adios. Talk to you later. Bye.